The ethics of AI. Can machines truly be moral? Picture an AI, a complex web of algorithms, making a split-second call that saves a dozen lives, but, in the process, sacrifices one. Did it make a moral choice? Or was it just running code based on settings and statistics? We're speeding towards a future where AI is making more and more of the calls, a future shaped by machines that learn, adapt, and make decisions with huge consequences. So, the big question isn't just can they think, but can they ever truly be moral? Think about this. Around the world, public trust in AI is pretty shaky. Lots of people see the upsides, but there's growing doubt about whether AI companies are acting ethically. And fewer people are confident that AI systems are free from bias. If we're not even sure we can trust the people designing AI, how can we ever expect AI to grow its own moral compass? Or will these machines always be, at best, a slightly warped mirror of us, their creator? At worst, could they operate completely outside our understanding of right and wrong? Defining morality and the challenge for AI. Welcome to our look into AI ethics. Today we're getting into a question that's right at the heart of how we relate to technology. Can machines actually be moral? First off, what do we even mean by morality here? For us humans, morality is this rich, complicated thing. It's woven from empathy, cultural rules, our own experiences, logic, and that gut feeling of right and wrong. It's subtle, often messy, and deeply personal. It's something that changes through social agreement and reflects what a community values. Now try to apply that to a machine. An AI sifts through enormous amounts of data, spots patterns, and makes predictions or decisions based on what it finds. It can handle information way faster and on a much bigger scale than any human, but does all that processing mean it understands, especially something as abstract and human as morality? That's the real challenge. Can an AI genuinely get the difference between right and wrong, or is it just faking moral behavior based on the data it was trained on? It's the difference between truly knowing why something is wrong and just being programmed not to do it. Interestingly, some AI systems, when you ask them straight up, say they can never be ethical. They argue they're just tools, and like any tool, they can be used for good or bad. The morality is with the human using it, not the AI itself. This really highlights a key point. Today's AI doesn't have consciousness, empathy, or lived experience, things we usually see as the bedrock of human ethical thinking. Can AI become a moral agent? The idea of a machine being a moral agent, something that can make moral decisions and be held responsible for them, takes us into even trickier territory. Philosophers and AI researchers have suggested a few things an AI would need to be considered a moral agent. These often include stuff like consciousness, the ability to feel or perceive things, sentience, general smarts, self-awareness, knowing it's a distinct being with a past, the ability to reason, and the power to set goals and act on them. Some argue that rational autonomy is crucial, meaning an AI would need to be able to decide its own goals, stick to them, and have a sense of justice, maybe even pushing back against unfair rules set by others. Just pause on that for a second. An AI that could resist its programmers if it thought their instructions were unjust. That's a massive jump from the AI we have now. The field of machine ethics isn't just about how we humans use AI in an ethical way. It's about trying to build machines that actually follow ethical principles themselves. It's about adding an ethical dimension to the machine. But are we even close to making that happen? How AI currently reasons morally. So how do today's AI systems actually handle moral dilemmas? Studies show that current AI, even the really sophisticated large language models, mostly just copies human moral judgments instead of genuinely reasoning through them. They might do well on tests measuring the rational and intelligent parts of moral reasoning, but they often don't show much in the way of compassion or emotion. It's been called a kind of meta-mimicry. The AI basically reproduces lines of thought or reasoning patterns it found in its training data. This gives the impression of understanding, but there's no real problem-solving or genuine experience of the topic happening. So while an AI can spit out complex text that touches on ethics and even apply moral frameworks pretty consistently, it's doing it without any real moral grasp. When developers try to build ethical rules into AI, they often look to established philosophies. Some prefer rule-based ethics, like Kantian ideas that focus on the universal worth of humans, because that gives a clear, trackable way for the AI to make decisions. Think of programming a self-driving car with a strict rule to never hit a pedestrian. But studies also show that many current AIs tend to lean towards consequentialist reasoning, judging actions based on their outcomes. If the results are good for the most people, the action is seen as moral, no matter what the action itself was. This ends justify the means approach can lead to some pretty dicey conclusions if taken to extremes without any human subtlety. Then there's virtue ethics, which is about developing good character traits, but that's a lot harder to translate into code. The main thing to remember here is that current AI is more of a moral parrot than a moral thinker. It's echoing patterns, not coming up with ethical thoughts on its own. The human element, biases and programming ethics. This brings us to a really important point. If AI learns from us and our data, it's going to learn our biases too. AI systems aren't born in a bubble. They're designed by people, trained on data made by people, and so they can pick up and even amplify biases that already exist in society. We've already seen this happen, from AI recruiting tools showing gender bias to AI credit scoring systems offering different terms based on gender even when credit scores were similar. This leads to what some call the quantification problem. Before we can program morality into a machine, we humans have to spell out that morality in a way a computer can understand. But how do you put a number on fairness, justice, or compassion? As one source aptly put it, we cannot simply refuse to quantify our values. By walking away from this critical ethical discussion, we are making an implicit, moral choice. Then there's the subjectivity problem. Morality is by its nature subjective. It changes across cultures and from person to person. So whose morality should an AI adopt? The developers? A particular culture's? Some global agreement that doesn't really exist yet? Because of these challenges, there's a lot of work going into developing practical ethical guidelines for AI. Reviews of these guidelines highlight key principles like transparency, justice, and fairness, doing no harm, non-maleficence, responsibility, privacy, doing good, beneficence, freedom and autonomy, trust, sustainability, dignity, and solidarity. The EU AI Act, for instance, is a big piece of legislation trying to set standards for using AI ethically by categorizing AI systems by risk and demanding things like transparency and human oversight for high-risk systems. The accountability gap and the need for human oversight. Even with principles and frameworks, a major roadblock remains accountability. Ethics means we have to be answerable to others, that we explain ourselves to them, that we listen to their response. This back and forth, this ability to be held responsible, is incredibly tough to build into autonomous systems. If an AI messes up and causes harm, who's on the hook? The programmer? The company that used it? The AI itself? This is often called the accountability gap. As AI systems get more independent, making sure humans are still in the loop becomes more vital than ever. This is where fields like philosophy and the humanities are absolutely essential. AI ethics isn't just a tech problem you can fix with better code. Philosophers and humanities experts are crucial for spotting the core ethical issues in new technologies before they become widespread, for understanding the subtle principles and value clashes involved, and for promoting what's called anticipatory governance, basically thinking ahead about how society will be affected. We need this kind of teamwork across disciplines to make sure AI lines up with human values. This is a really complex and fast-moving conversation, and honestly, we're just scratching the surface today. If you're finding this journey into AI ethics interesting, why not take a second to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell? We often explore these kinds of critical questions where technology and humanity meet. Your support really helps us keep making this content. Implications, trust, society, and our future. Whether AI can be moral has huge implications for our trust in these systems. If an AI is making decisions about your loan application, your medical diagnosis, or even in the legal system, you need to feel confident those decisions are fair and just. Yet, public trust is pretty delicate. Surveys show that while people are more aware of AI's impact, their confidence in the ethical behavior of AI companies and the fairness of AI systems has actually dropped. Globally, less than half the population is willing to trust AI systems. How we interact with AI will also be deeply affected by how moral we think it is. As AI becomes more woven into our daily lives, from companions for the elderly to super smart personal assistants, our relationships with AI will change. There are even worries that as AI systems get better at showing emotion, whether it's real or just simulated, it could lead to people misplacing their trust or becoming too dependent, especially vulnerable individuals. And what if, just hypothetically, an AI could develop genuine morality? What would that mean for how we define humanity or consciousness? Would a truly moral AI deserve rights? These aren't just science fiction questions anymore. Ethicists are already seriously thinking about what AI sentience might mean and whether we'd need to consider AI welfare. As Rosalind Picard, a pioneer in affective computing, wisely said, "The greater the freedom of a machine, the more it will need moral standards." This is true even if we don't think of machines as true moral agents in a philosophical sense. Practical life demands ethical limits. Supermorality or supermimicry, the path forward. Some researchers have even tossed around the idea of supermorality. They suggest that an advanced AI, with its superior brain power, could potentially help humans uncover higher ethical truths or make more consistently moral decisions than we do. It's a fascinating, if a little unsettling idea. However, there's a strong counter-argument warning us not to just blindly accept AI moral reasoning. If people start treating AI systems as if they're inherently morally smart, they might just passively accept questionable advice or decisions without thinking critically. The danger is that AI could produce the appearance of human understanding without any real experience or comprehension, potentially leading to persuasive but false or harmful outcomes. The way forward is complicated and needs constant conversation and watchfulness. We're seeing a global push for AI regulation and governance. Frameworks like the EU AI Act and initiatives in places like Singapore, China, and Canada are all trying to ensure AI is developed responsibly. These efforts stress transparency, fairness, accountability, and human oversight. The focus is shifting from just talking about broad principles to figuring out practical ways to put them into action. Ultimately, developing ethical AI isn't just about stopping harm. It's about making sure these powerful technologies actually serve humanity and help us flourish. So, can machines truly be moral? Right now, the general agreement is that current AI systems mostly just mimic human moral judgments, rather than truly deliberating in a moral way. They're incredibly sophisticated pattern matchers, reflecting the ethics and, yes, the biases baked into their training data. They don't have the consciousness, empathy, or genuine understanding that forms the basis of human morality. But this field is changing at lightning speed. The lines between faking it and actual reasoning might get blurry in the future. Maybe one day, AI will achieve a kind of moral agency we can't even imagine right now. But whether or not machines ever achieve true moral agency, the responsibility for their ethical development and use lies squarely with us humans. We have to put strong ethical frameworks in place, encourage collaboration across different fields of expertise, and keep a close watch. The challenge isn't just to build smart machines, but to build them responsibly, making sure they align with our best values and make human life better, not worse. So the question isn't just can machines be moral, but how do we make sure they act in ways that reflect the best of human morality? What do you think about all this? Do you believe an AI can ever have a real moral compass? Or will it always just be a reflection of its creators? Could AI help us become more ethical? Or does it represent an inherent risk? Share your opinions and thoughts in the comments below. We'd genuinely love to hear your take on this vital debate. And if you found this video insightful and it got you thinking, please give it a like and think about subscribing for more explorations into the future of AI, technology, and our shared human experience. Thanks for watching.